Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about breaking down huge ideas into guides you can actually use. And today we are building the definitive blueprint for your online business success in 2026. This is a year that's going to reward precision and, real authenticity like never before. Okay, so to really get where we're going, we've got to look at where we've been, right? So 2024, that was the big bang, the AI explosion. Everything everywhere all at once. And 2025, well, it's kind of felt like the messy aftermath, this chaotic scramble to just plug AI into, everything. But 2026, and this is the key, is different. It's the year of automated human relevance. This is where that pendulum swings all the way back. It's where we figure out that technology's biggest power isn't about replacing us, but about amplifying the stuff that makes us most human. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to face the hard truths about the new market. Then, we'll design your core business architecture, master the new rules of actually connecting with people, learn how to test your big ideas without breaking the bank, and then, the best part, we're going to lay out a concrete 30-day action plan to make it all real. So, let's just dive right into our first section, the 2026 reality. Look, the biggest challenge we're all facing is that the customer has completely changed. They are way smarter, they're more skeptical, and their inbox? It's basically a war zone. That old playbook, the one filled with vague promises and generic marketing, well, it's not just failing anymore. It's officially dead. That's why we're calling this the year of truth. And this is exactly why being a generalist in 2026 is, and I'm not exaggerating, a death sentence for your business. If you try to be everything to everyone, you're just guaranteeing you'll be nothing to anyone. The only way to cut through that insane amount of noise is with a laser-like, hyper-specific focus. And this slide just nails the difference, right? On the left, you're a street vendor shouting marketing services into a crowded market. You're a commodity. But on the right, whoa, you're not just selling a service, you're handing over a key. By saying you build client acquisition systems specifically for dental implant specialists, you become an irreplaceable partner. You're not just in the market, you pretty much own that entire niche. This whole shift requires a really profound change in your mindset. You have to stop thinking like a seller who's just pushing a product and start acting like a solution architect who deeply, truly understands a client's world. Attention and trust, that's the foundation now. Without them, even the most technically perfect sales funnel is going to fail hard. Okay, so that brings us perfectly to our second section, building your architecture of success. Because look, a brilliant, super focused strategy means absolutely nothing if the machine you build to run it is a complicated mess. And that's the trap, right? That's where so many entrepreneurs get totally lost, in this maze of conflicting software, plugins, and never-ending subscription fees. The answer, the solution, as this slide points out, isn't to find a better map for the maze, it's to get out of the maze entirely. The answer is consolidation. Instead of juggling a dozen different tools that barely even talk to each other, you simplify. You go all in on an all-in-one platform. Why? Because it gives you speed, clarity, and efficiency. And in 2026, believe me, those are your most powerful competitive advantages. Now, what's really cool about this slide is how it frames your business. Just think of it like this. Your platform, something like System.io, that's your factory. It's where you build everything. And then your communication tool, like a GetResponse, that's the fuel. It powers the relationship with your audience. And together, they create this powerful, synergistic system that just runs smoothly. All right, section 3. Connect, don't persuade. So you've got your niche, you've got your simplified tech stack. Now for the most human part of this whole equation, your words. The new challenge isn't just getting attention anymore. It's earning trust in a world that is flooded with perfectly polished but completely soulless AI-generated content. The only way you can win is to connect, human to human. And the answer is this concept we call visceral copywriting. Now, this isn't about clever taglines or using fancy words. It's about writing that hits you right in the gut. It's about using your words to prove, not just say, but prove that you understand your client's pain, their hopes, their world, maybe even better than they do themselves. When they read your words, you want them to feel one thing. Finally, someone gets it. And this is the key distinction for 2026. AI can whip up text that's grammatically perfect, but it's empty. It lacks a soul. Visceral copy, on the other hand, it's filled with real authenticity and vulnerability. It reminds people that they're buying from another human being, not some anonymous logo. This shift from persuasion to connection also completely changes how we create urgency. Those old tricks, the fake countdown timers, customers see right through them now. That's artificial urgency. It's manipulative. True urgency, the kind that actually works in 2026, is the urgency of the result. It's not about manipulation at all. It's about simple, powerful logic. You just clearly show that every single day they wait is a day of lost time, lost money, or lost opportunity. Okay, this brings us to section 4, validate before you build. So you've defined your niche, streamlined your tech, you've found your authentic voice, but there's one final massive trap before you hit go. Betting the entire farm on an idea that you think is brilliant, but the market couldn't care less about. This is single-handedly the most common and the most costly mistake in the entire game. So what's the answer? Well, you have to adopt a strategy of low-risk validation. You don't need a finished product to find out if people want it. You just need to sell the idea of the product and see if the market actually responds. This slide right here shows your new operating model, the validation cycle. Forget spending 6 months building something in secret. Instead, you create a simple offer and you test it. Doesn't work? Fine. Change the angle. Test it again. Still nothing? Change the audience. Test again. The beauty of this is you can fail 3 times in a single week and lose next to nothing. You're not listening for little whispers of interest. You're listening for a shout from the market. Only when the market screams for your solution do you then invest in building it out fully. All right, we have covered a lot of ground, but theory is totally useless without action. So let's get our hands dirty. Let's turn all of this into a concrete, step-by-step plan you can actually go and execute in the next 30 days. And here it is, your 30-day roadmap to get this done. Step 1, define that micro-problem. That's your hyper-specific niche. Step 2, set up your base with a simple squeeze page. That's your simplified architecture. Step 3, build the trust bridge with a welcome email sequence. That's your visceral connection. Step 4, launch a minimum viable offer. That's your validation, asking them to vote with their wallet. And finally, step 5, optimize. You use the data to refine and repeat the cycle. See, this isn't a wish list. This is the systematic process of building a real business. So let's end on this one critical idea. Your future business, the one that's going to absolutely thrive in 2026, isn't built on dreams, it's built on systems. The system of being specific, the system for connecting authentically, the system for validating before you build. You know, it takes courage to be different, it takes discipline to be consistent, and it takes the intelligence to use the right tools. Those are your real assets. The blueprint is right here. Your future is waiting for you to go build it.